God. What is up, you guys? Brooke here. Oh, God. So if you couldn't tell by the start of this video, I'm doing another one of my writing and drinking videos with Kate Cavanaugh. Oh, God, I'm still recovering after that. Ugh. If y'all don't know, Kate Cavanaugh and I have our own little series that we do where we will write and drink together. Sometimes it will not be together and sometimes we are together whenever we do this sort of thing. I'm excited to get started with it, or I guess I kind of already did get started with it. So my shot for the day is good. I do, however, have my wine to keep me company tonight. This is the majority of what I will be drinking the rest of this vlog, because when you have wine, you have a good old time. Now, I feel like Kate and I always have a theme to go with our writing and drinking prompts that we do together, and this one is all centered around NaNoWriMo. We've never done a NaNoWriMo type of drinking video before, so we felt like, why not try it this time around? If you've been to like a NaNoWriMo meetup group, if you go to these meetup groups that are affiliated with NaNoWriMo in some way, they have it to where they have their own prompts to help you keep going with your writing if you are stuck writing during NaNoWriMo. So these prompts help you keep going, but we are actually going to take those prompts and write a story with them. Prompt number 1 is Mr. Ian Woon. And if you don't know who Ian Woon is, he's a Mr. That's not telling you anything. Mr. Ian Woon is an anagram of NaNoWriMo. Over the years, Rhymos have included him as a character in their novels as a tribute to Nano and as an inside joke. So pretty much how Kate and I are going to be starting off our stories, we have a character named Mr. Ian Woon. He is going to be our protagonist and whatever concoction of story plots we have in store for him. And our prompt number 2 that we will be adding more into our story with is Suddenly Ducks. Suddenly Ducks is a plot device used by many to move the story along by adding random ducks in the novel and having to explain why they are there. Originally just ducks, it has other variations as Suddenly Vodka or Suddenly Ninjas. So this one, Kate and I actually aren't writing about ducks in our individual stories, but we will be adding something that the other person is coming up for us. Kate is sending me a video where she is giving me my prompt of suddenly blah blah blah. So she is picking what is interwoven randomly into my story to keep things interesting. And I am doing the same for her. I am sending her something very random that is suddenly blah 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 to where she has to write that blah 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 into her book, or not book, story. And then our third and final prompt for our NaNoWriMo story that we will be crafting is The Traveling Shovel of Death. Dun, dun, dun. The Traveling Shovel of Death is an all-purpose plot device that has become primarily associated with NaNoWriMo. It consists of a shovel that can be used by a character or multiple characters to commit murders, thus propelling the plot forward when things are moving too slowly. And we will be using the Traveling Shovel of Death in our little stories that we are doing today as well. So someone's going to get the axe in our story, or should I say, they're going to get the shovel in our story. So pretty much someone's gonna die. And I'm wondering if it's going to be the Mr. Ian Woon that we will be writing about in the story. And then we will end off the vlog with a poem. With our poem, every new line of our poem, we will have to start it off with using the letters that spell out NaNoWriMo. So anyway, that's it. Those are our prompts that we will be doing today, and I'm excited to get started. So, clink, let's get started. Okay, so while I write this first part of my new story that I will be writing, I have to write about a man named Mr. Ian Woon. So, let me write about him. Okay, I've got my ambient noise stuff going on as I'm going to start writing, so let's start writing. I am out of wine and I'm done typing. And oh boy, that took a turn that I wasn't expecting to write today. Okay, so here is the beginning of the first prompt. 184 words so far, and we'll see how you think. With his hood covering his mop of messy hair, Ian Woon walked into the library, his eyes scanning the aisles of books for the short girl with the pixie hair. She was here last time. He spotted her in the mystery section. She was reading a book by Gillian Flynn and told him how she saw the twist coming from a mile away. He enjoyed her laugh and the way her lips parted when she smiled. It had only been 2 days since he saw her, and she's haunted his every thought, engulfing his mind until he finally came up with his plan. He wanted her. He needed her. Ian needed to take her home with him so she could be his forever. Sure, the last time he kidnapped someone, it didn't work out, but he had a good feeling the girl with the pixie hair wouldn't try to escape like how the last one did. No, this one was different. She'd stay obedient, she'd stay by his side, she wouldn't have to join the other girls he had buried in the backyard. Oh, things got dark rather quickly. I started writing this out and was so just kind of like, where the freak am I going to go with this whole story? Like, who is this Ian character? Is he going to be cute? Is he going to be cool and suave? Or is he going to be creepy as F? And I chose the latter. So anyway, I've got like a stalker on my hands. Somehow that happened. And I'm rather enjoying this. So that's the beginning of the story. That is my character, Ian Woon, a man with a dark past and with lots of girls buried in his backyard, apparently. I decided to put that in there because I knew that this eventually will end up with the traveling shovel prompt to where I know someone's going to die. And I am still not sure yet if it's going to be Ian who's going to die or this chick who has the pixie haircut. Okay, so the next prompt is actually the fun prompt. I get to pull up and see what Kate has in store for me to add to my story that I'm currently writing. Let me pull up Kate's thing. Oh, she's over here. Kate, what do you got for me?
Hi, Brooke. Okay, so your prompt is going to be suddenly a bowl of spaghetti. Have fun.
Oh, God. Spaghetti. Okay, I can try and work that in there. I can manage that. I mean, my character, Ian Woon, is already like a weird stalker person. Maybe he just happens to have like a bowl of spaghetti in his backpack. I don't know. But first, let me get some more wine. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I got my wine now. So there's that. And now let's see what else I could be listening to as I write. Oh, I've got myself a beautiful autumn dining room, so that's just freaking pretty. Let me go back over to my prompts. Okay, so now I'm adding in a part with, what was it again? Spaghetti. A bowl of spaghetti. Challenge accepted. Let's do this. Say how much I love writing this story. For some reason, creepers are fun to write about. Oh gosh, I just realized I'm not done drinking this wine. I should probably finish this. Okay, so I'm going to read to you all now the following that I had just written. Wow, gulping that wine just made me like so funny. Okay, I'm going to read to you now. Ian gulped when he caught a glimpse of the back of her blonde, spiky hair. He He immediately changed route and made his way down the self-help section, watching her carefully place books back in proper place on the shelves. He wouldn't get out the chloroform in that aisle. It was far too visible by the other librarians and the children who were reading fancy books across the way. He'd have to wait to use the chloroform on her when the right moment came. He'd have to get her alone first, then he'd spring it on her. She'd no doubt be surprised, but she'd be thankful he used it on her once she was at her new home with him. As Ian walked down the self-help aisle, his hands quaked inside his hoodie's pockets as he said, "Long time no see." The girl with the pixie cut turned to see who was greeting her. She smiled, but her smile faded when she saw who was speaking to her. "Oh, hi there." She held a book tight to her chest and stole a step away from him. She politely carried on with her librarian duties, but Ian wasn't done with her yet. Before Ian could ask her another question, she pushed her cart of books 2 aisles over. Good. That aisle was farther away from the public eye. He may need to use chloroform sooner than expected. "Can I help you with something?" she asked, looking up at him with a tense jaw. "Sorry, I don't think I caught your name last time." "It's Zoe." She quickly moved her cart 3 aisles away, an aisle he could easily use the chloroform on her. "Zoe," Ian said, following her. "That's beautiful." Zoe turned around, stepping away from her cart of books to face him. "Listen, I want you to leave me alone. I'm sorry, but you were creeping me out last time, and you're creeping me out this time too. I'd appreciate it if you could ask one of the other librarians for assistance." Ian didn't say anything. His eyes watered, and his bright fist tightened around the cloth of chloroform in his hoodie's pocket. "I promise you'll change your mind about me later." And this is the part where I kind of like cut to another scene here, so yeah. Zoe woke up in the dark. She groaned, not realizing where she was. All she saw were the blurry shapes and the blackness that swallowed everything else. "Ah, you're up." Zoe recognized that voice. Goosebumps crawled down her spine and her pulses explosive. She hadn't known the pervert who stalked her at the library for very long. Her imagination ran wild after her first creepy encounter with him, but she didn't anticipate waking up in some dark, mysterious place with him. "Where am I?" she asked breathlessly. She tried moving her arms and hands, but they were binded down with some sort of rope. "You look hungry. Here, I made you some spaghetti." Her vision still blurry, she didn't see the fork of sauced noodles coming for her mouth. She jerked away, the fork he was trying to feed her with landing on her lap. "Let me go!" "Sorry." I'm still laughing at the spaghetti. I think that's why this round took me as long as it did, because in a library, there ain't spaghetti. So I was trying to like force the spaghetti on my characters. So I had it to where he creepily made her spaghetti after he kidnapped her. I mean, that makes kind of sense, right? Maybe? I felt like I really liked that. There were definitely places where I was like, oh crap, I need to like adjust this or something, but I'm gonna let it be. But you know, it is what it is, and I'm actually really enjoying it. Thank you, Kate, for giving me the bowl of spaghetti prompt, because it made it even weirder for this dude to be hand feeding her, well, not hand feeding her, but fork feeding her spaghetti after she just got kidnapped. So, okay, that was prompt number 2. So now it's time to wrap up this storyline, and I'm wrapping it up by, where are you? The Traveling Shovel of Death. I don't know if I want Ian Woon or Zoe to be the one to get murdered or to be the one who is murdering with the shovel. I have no idea how this story is going to end. Okay, more wine is coming in 3, 2... Okay, so I got my wine. Now I gotta go ahead and kill a character with a shovel. Well, I wrote a whole lot more. I drank 1.5 glasses of wine during that round because I needed to keep me going. I felt really, God, why am I so slow talking? I felt really geared to finish this, but also I felt like I was forced to finish this kind of abruptly because I wasn't wanting to take a whole lot of time into wrapping up this short little story. I was trying to like make it quick even though I didn't really make it that quick. I had to kill someone with a shovel in this last part of the story. Spoilers. So that was what was supposed to go down. And so I wrote it. I'm happy with it. There are things that I wish I could elaborate more on. I really enjoyed the end of the story, but like I said, I wish I had gotten to write more to it. Okay, so I will refresh your memory with saying the last thing that was said in the last prompt was Zoe saying, "Let me go." So that's where we left off on this now, and now we're getting back to it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so silly. Let me go. But this is your home. You're gonna love it here. And you're gonna love me too. I promise you will. Zoe's vision started to slowly come back to her. Shapes were more crisp. The little light dancing in the corners of the room started to paint a picture to her dire situation. She could see the man who kidnapped her sitting inches away from her, holding a bowl of spaghetti in his lap. The freaking spaghetti! "Please, I beg you, let me leave and I won't ever tell anyone what you did. I want to go home." "I already told you, sweet Zoe. This is your new home now, and you're my wife. I promise you'll see it my way soon. Just give it time." And scene break. After a month of being trapped in the basement, Zoe hadn't stopped fighting for her life. Ian had not only fed her, but had also stroked her hair, touched her in inappropriate places, and kissed her whenever she felt weak. Zoe didn't let him get away with it, though. She'd bite his lips, his tongue, and would ram her head against his to try and keep Ian away from her. And whenever he wasn't around, she even tried gnawing at the ropes about her hands in the chair, hoping she'd be able to break free from them. But besides splintery bits of rope getting stuck between her teeth, nothing ever came of it. The only things that kept her going were the thoughts of being reunited with her mom, dad, and sister. If it weren't for their love, she would have given up by now. She had a life worth fighting for, and she planned on fighting for it as long as she could. But one day, the hope of living died when Ian came down the stairs with a shovel. He didn't turn on all the basement lights like he normally did. He only turned on the one that flickered above her head, the one that put a spotlight on her and nothing else. The only thing she could see in front of her was Ian holding his dirty shovel. "I'm sorry, Zoe, but I found someone else. Someone who I think will appreciate her time here. I gave you a chance, but it's time to give someone else one now." Zoe laughed, knowing she was about to die. "So, you're going to kidnap some helpless girl and tie them to a chair against their will too? Don't make it sound like that," he said, gripping the shovel's handle. "I've enjoyed you being here, but you haven't adjusted like how I thought you would. So, things have to change." Zoe lowered her head. She should have accepted death and what would come after right then and there, but the mental image of her family wouldn't go away. It was the only thing she could see in the darkness. And as the thoughts of death and dying swam through her, she felt the ropes about her right hand give way. Carefully raising her right hand and feeling it brush past the ropes that tied her down. All that work of biting at the ropes paid off after all. Clearing her throat and pretending everything was fine, Zoe said, "Before you do anything else, can I kiss you? You've kissed me several times, but I've never gotten the chance to kiss you." Ian hesitated, loosening his grip on the shovel's handle. "Really?" "Just once. I'd like to know what could have been between us if I let it happen." Ian placed the shovel against her chair and lowered onto his knees to meet Zoe's height in the chair. Their kiss was sloppy and wet. It took everything Zoe had in her not to vomit. But as Ian was busy sliding his tongue in and out of her mouth, she raised her right hand free of its ties and grabbed for the shovel somewhere next to her. Ian's eyes opened as soon as her hand was on the shovel. Without giving him time to react, Zoe clonked him on the head with the shovel, knocking him to the ground. She stood up, one hand still tied to the chair and the other holding the shovel Ian had meant to kill her with. Raising the shovel high in the air, aiming it straight for Ian coiled on the cement, Zoe was glad that she would be the last girl Ian Woon would ever kidnap. So there you go. There it is. There was my twisted type of NaNoWriMo story that I wrote for you all. It was very intriguing. I did not see myself writing something that dark today. I honestly thought I'd write something more like cutesy and like humorous. I did a completely different situation on you guys and went with something very, very odd and twisty, and I loved it. I've probably had, okay, hold on. How many glasses of wine was that? Because I took another glass as well. I had 1, 2, 3, 4 glasses of wine tonight, along with another shot at the beginning of it all. So I guess that's why I'm feeling pretty groovy. And now we have one more writing prompt to do, and that is to write a NaNoWriMo. What was I even saying? I was trying to say NaNoWriMo and I was like, NaNoWriMo. Now it's time to write a NaNoWriMo poem. By doing that, we have to like start off each line with like the letters that spell out NaNoWriMo. So the first line is going to start with a word that starts with the letter N, and then it's going to continue on with the second line that starts with the letter A, and then it just keeps on going down to spell out NaNoWriMo. I'm excited for this. I feel like this was such a good idea to have a little bit of a challenge with our poem. I will see you in a second. I'll be back with my poem. Bye. I finished the NaNoWriMo poem. It sucks. Part of it is funny and part of it it's like, why? I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Let me read it to you all. November is the month for writing, and that means it's time for flighting. I don't know where that came from. Nantucket is a place I'd like to fly to. Of course, it'd be expensive for both me and you. Writing is the name of the game. Reading is put aside. For shame! I don't know about you, but I love lighting a candle. Maybe it's something you could handle? And my last line is, oh wow, this is bad. I don't even know what to say. It just was really horrible. I don't know anymore. Yeah, so that was it. That was my NaNoWriMo poem. Yeah, I enjoyed the other story that I wrote. It was a lot of fun. I liked kind of visiting more of the serious type of writing with you guys. Please make sure to go watch Kate Cavanaugh's vlog on the drinking and the writing adventures we did with NaNoWriMo. If you guys liked this video, feel free to give me a big thumbs up below, and also feel free to subscribe because I post writing related content every week here. And thank you so much for stopping by today, and I will see you next time. So, bye! That was a weird way to end it, but anyway, bye!